What's up, Central Illinois? Derek Hayden here. Garrett and I love sharing all the awesome stories about our Central Illinois business leaders. We want to make sure our Central Illinois businesses are protected so we can continue to share all these great stories. That's why you should consider another great Central Illinois company, Pekin Insurance, for your business insurance needs. That's right, you can get all the commercial insurance coverages that your company needs from an excellent insurance company headquartered right here in Pekin, Illinois. Pekin Insurance offers comprehensive business coverage that lets you focus on what's important to you: employees, profits, and peace of mind. Ask your local Pekin Insurance agent about their commercial insurance products or learn more at pekininsurance.com. You can also contact your favorite podcast hosts, Garrett or myself, Derek, and we'll go beyond the expected for you.
Welcome to the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, where business owners, thought leaders, and community champions from across Central Illinois come to share their story. The Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What's up, Central Illinois? I'm Derek Hayden. I'm here with Garrett Ulmer. We're your hosts for the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, powered by Zambu. Zambu is a delicious grapefruit or wildberry vodka-based spirit infused with a Brazilian buzz button. It's smooth, tasty, and leaves you with a signature tingle. Learn more at ZambuLiquors.com. Zambu, taste the tingle. All right, Central Illinois, today's guest is the CEO at Yost Enterprises and Yost Management Services in Charleston, Illinois. Ladies and gents of Central Illinois, please welcome Jeremy Yost. How you doing, Jeremy?
Good. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you on with us for sure.
Yeah, man. We've heard a lot about you, and we talked a little bit before we hit the record button that your good buddy Colt McLeod over at McLeod Express referred you. So anybody that Colt says we need to interview, we're getting him on the show. So yeah, we're pumped to hear your story. So before we have you tell your story, Jeremy, I'm going to kick it over to Garrett, and we're going to run you through our speed round.
All right. Yeah, like we talked a little bit before, it sounds like maybe you've listened to an episode or two of ours, and so you might be a little bit prepared for what's coming at you. So we got a few questions here. First concert that you ever attended?
John Mayer.
John Mayer. That's a first time. Favorite movie?
12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys. I am not familiar with 12 Monkeys.
I'm not either.
It's an older Brad Pitt movie with Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Gotcha. Well, it can't be bad.
If it's got Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis, got to check it out for sure. So are there some explosions or anything good in it?
Definitely. It's a different movie. It's very attention to detail.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
If I ate a lot of ice cream, it would probably be chocolate, but I don't really eat ice cream.
Gotcha. For you, I need to follow that, but it's not working out for me.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Favorite social media platform?
Instagram.
Last but not least, why Central Illinois?
I just love it. I love the 217. Grew up in an entrepreneurial family. Been here since age 4, and I love Central Illinois.
Perfect. Love it, man. Well, hey, appreciate you sharing that information. So we mentioned in your intro, CEO at Yost Enterprises and Yost Management Services. If you could give us your backstory of, you mentioned you moved to Central Illinois, how you came up through an entrepreneurial family, and how you're now CEO at Yost Enterprises and Yost Management Services. Give us that whole background. You can make it as long or as short as you want.
Sure. Well, kind of like what I was touching on before we started recording, my family moved to Charleston in 1989, and my dad developed a restaurant and bar called Sticks at Eastern Illinois University. He owned and operated that for 17 years. So I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. Have that background of just kind of, balls to the wall 24/7 of there's always some sort of irons in the fire. I've known since age 4, I wanted to follow in whatever my dad was doing. I was so fascinated that, seeing him operate a business, that kept a roof over our head. We got to do a lot of cool things, and I wanted that same type of lifestyle, whatever that might be. And in the mid 90s, he kind of transitioned into real estate. He still had the bar, but he started developing apartment complexes. And as I got older, kind of thought that would be a lot better of a lifestyle. It's kind of a little more flexibility. So I started college, left and went to the Navy for 4 years, got out of the Navy, attended grad school at EIU, and joined his real estate company, and started, from ground up, learning the property management of being a site manager, going through the roles of how to operate facilities. And within a few years, he gave me an opportunity. After my mom had passed, he wanted to move to Florida. I said, "Hey, son, it's that time to sink or swim," and gave me an opportunity on an assisted living to develop it and build it and get it open for him. I did. And then I got hooked. And then I started buying my own stuff and using those and leveraging properties and trying to gain more and grow. And 14 years later, him and I are tag team partners side by side and doing things together. He's retired down in Florida, but joins me on some ventures when he decides he wants to get a little busier. That's kind of the background of it, growing up in that entrepreneurial family. And I've been doing this for 14 years now. And when I started, we didn't have a property management company. We paid other people to do it. And so that was one of the things that I wanted to do, was branch out and said, instead of us paying somebody else, I can deal with the property management system. I can hire the employees and build a solid base. And now we're up to, I think our entire portfolio, we've got over 66 employees. And effective yesterday, we just added 52 more. So between our various entities, we've got over 100 employees now.
Wow. That's excellent. Yeah. Good for you guys. The property management side, I always thought it would take a very patient individual or team of people to do the property management, because I know that you've got to run into frustrating topics and issues on a daily basis.
It's a roller coaster. You definitely have to hire the right people and place them accordingly, because it's not easy. It's never smooth. And there's always an issue. So you've got to have the right people in the right place, like I just said, and they've got to be able to multitask, because there's always something, whether it's, independent living for seniors, multifamily, assisted living, or student rentals. None of them are the same. The only similarities is whenever you turn an apartment, you've got to do the fixer upper and get things ready. And that's the main thing. Otherwise, you're going to have a slew of issues. And, even after 14 years, I was still getting issues that I've never dealt with this before. And you just kind of, you learn and you flow with it and keep getting better each day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, do you have a centralized location of where your properties are at, or are they all throughout Illinois? Where are you?
We are all over Illinois.
Okay.
Home base for me and my director of operations is Charleston. But we've got properties obviously here in Charleston, but we're in Metropolis, Marion, Heron, DuQuoin, West Frankfort, Lawrenceville, Arcola, and Sterling, Illinois. Wow. And soon to be opening up a Hilton Garden Inn and Convention Center in Mattoon, Illinois.
That's awesome. Yeah, awesome. So when you're managing these properties, are you mainly managing like long-term rentals? Like it's I won't say long-term, but individual families. What type of properties are you managing typically?
So our main portfolio, we develop the properties and manage them. Okay. So we're kind of all in one, and we'll do it in multiple units. So on like a small side, I think our smallest property is 30 units.
Okay.
And then all the way up to 116 units is our largest that we manage.
Awesome.
And I say 116 units, but it's a student rental. So, you're looking at like 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms in that mix. Yeah. So it's a lot more than 116 units of, residents that you're dealing with.
Sure. Wow.
A lot of foot traffic.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I don't want to beat this up too bad, but can you tell us one of your most unique stories or crazy stories on the property management side that you've run into?
Sure. Actually, one that comes to mind was from 2010. And it's more of a development story. And my general contractors that does a lot of our building for us is Horvey Builders out of Forsyth, Illinois. They're phenomenal. We were doing a 2-story assisted living facility, and there was Illinois Department of Natural Resources had let us know that apparently sometime in like the mid 80s on our site, someone had seen a Kirtland snake. And I guess it was like an endangered species or just very rare or whatnot. So we had to have, like, around our development site before we could start construction, they sent a specialist out there to kind of for like a week long go over and search and try to find this snake that apparently someone may or may not have seen. So that was one of the most ironic things to happen to us on a development site, and then transition and found out that, somebody back in the 70s in Charleston, they used to drop trash on the site that we were building on. So supposedly it was like a dump.
Oh no.
And we never found any issues on our site, and we had to do some extra dirt work, but they were kind of two ironic things that happened. I've never had anything like that happen before. It ended up working out. We've been open over 10 years now, but it's like, man, how can you even expect something to happen? I had never even heard of that type of snake before either.
I haven't either. When you said that, I was like, I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah.
Did they find the snake?
Found nothing. There was no sorts of anything.
No snake skin.
Nothing. You might have found some like garter snakes or something, but not that specific snake.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that would be.
I know you said
frustrating,
that you had grown up through the entrepreneur family. You decided to take off and join. You said the Navy.
Yes.
So did you know that when you went into the military that eventually you would want to come home and jump into the property management, or, was there kind of a line that was drawn that said, this is the direction I want to go?
I knew for me, I wanted to serve my country. My dad did it. My grandfather did it. And so I wanted to do something different. I also wanted to get away from Charleston. I knew I would be coming back here. I wanted to just do something different, go find out who I am and get away from my family and develop my own self. And I did that knowing that I would probably only do 4 years and then get out. And I wanted, I signed up for the Navy. I figured that would be the greatest place for me to join and go see the world. Didn't happen. I ended up getting stationed in North Chicago, Illinois for 4 years.
No. you got to see
I didn't
Chicago
even see a ship.
Wow. Well, hey, I will say, first off, thanks for your service.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Still a cool experience, I'm sure, to see Chicago in that light, but unfortunately didn't get to see the world, it sounds like. So you mentioned your convention center. I know that is near completion, and I know there's a lot of buzz about it here in Central Illinois. So give us the whole story of your convention center.
Yeah. So many years ago, my dad was going to do this development back in like 2010 when we owned the exact spot where we're building now, just off Lerner Road and Route 16 off the 190A exit off of Interstate 57. Had all the acreage then. My dad was going to develop it. Some things didn't work out, sold the land back to Agricel. And a couple of years ago, I was approached by Rural King, and they've invested a significant amount of money into Mattoon. That's where their corporate headquarters is, but they've helped bring in a ton of new businesses, revamped our mall that's in Mattoon, and just done a phenomenal job just being a great business leader in the community. Said, hey, this would be a great project with what's going on. Mattoon is just booming right now, business-wise. Would this be something you'd be interested in? I said, I don't know. I don't think so. I'll think about it. More and more I got to think about it. More and more I decided I wanted to do it. And made a phone call to my dad and said, hey, I really think this is the right time. This is going to happen. Let's do this. So we jumped in and got a couple guys to partner with us and started everything out. Things were going good. And then the pandemic happened, and it was kind of like a shell shock roller coaster because nobody had ever dealt with anything like that before. And it was quite scary to have to try to navigate trying to build a hotel and convention center through a pandemic, of losing our financing that we had in place, and then going through and self-funding it quite a bit until we found the right lender, because nobody was wanting to loan during the pandemic because the hospitality industry was one of, if not the hardest hit throughout the world. And we never gave up. My father and I have great ownership partners that were phenomenal and stayed positive through everything as well. I made over 300 phone calls worldwide for financing and got a yes. And did that every single day, Monday through Friday, until I got a yes. And it was one of those things that, for myself and my father, it had been a dream project to be able to do. And we knew that it would serve as an anchor for Coles County and Mattoon to help bring in more businesses. So, when the going got tough, we got going and making it happen. Lights at the end of the tunnel, and things are working out.
Well, that's a true success story for anybody that's an entrepreneur in any type of sales. If you want the yes, it just depends on how bad you want the yes, right?
Eventually you're going to get it.
Yeah. You just keep
you
making calls.
You got to hear no before you can get to yes.
Absolutely.
And if you just stop at that no, then it's obviously something you're just not meant to do. You've got to have that drive, to be an entrepreneur. You have to believe you're not going to fail, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get what you want. There's going to be the bumps.
Yep.
You just persevere and get through them.
I always say without failure, there is no success.
Yes.
You've got to fail. It's just the inevitable. So
it's funny because I listened to there was a video, I can't remember who it was. It was an entrepreneurial video this morning. And now I'm going to butcher this, but it was a good quote. And the guy was like, you just got to keep going, and keep in mind, if you continue to work, it'll all work out in the end. And if it doesn't work out, it's not the end. So that was cool. Like, okay, yeah, if it doesn't work out, it's not the end. You can keep going. So yeah, that's a cool story for sure. So 52 employees, I think you said, is that right? 52 for the convention center. Awesome. So I'm sure there's a lot of people in Central Illinois that have no idea what it takes to run that type of a business. What type of positions did you have to hire? And how, especially
and are you still
right
needing
now,
some also? Are you seeking?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, it's one of those, you've got your GM that's going to sail the ship with your director of sales. Those are your backbone positions, because you need somebody that's going to go in, operate the facility, make sure that, the attention to detail is there with the rest of the staff. And you've got your, front desk and operations manager. And then with your sales, then you've got your banquet coordinator that ties into food and beverage side as well. So with your food and beverage, then you've got all your servers, you've got your bartenders, and all those employees tie into the convention center. Then you go back to that operation side, and you've got your housekeeping and your maintenance crew. So, you've got all different areas that makes a hotel run smooth. And your backbone position obviously is your general manager. That's very, very important, because if you don't have a strong leader that is the face of your hotel, you're not going to succeed. And honestly, I know without a shadow of a doubt, we have an amazing leader. His name's Lucas. He's going to do a phenomenal job. Our director of sales, perfect fit. Spencer's going to kill it. He already is. Both of them are making connections in the community. They're putting the right people in place. And I couldn't be more proud. And I know the rest of our ownership group couldn't be more proud of the pre-development work that they've been doing to get us to opening.
Awesome. So Lucas and Spencer, if you're listening, no pressure at all, but we're really relying on you here in Central Illinois. So
Definitely.
So how many, tell us a little bit about the facility. How many rooms, how big of a convention center is it?
So we've got, it's going to be a Hilton Garden Inn.
Okay.
We've got 102 keys. And what's unique about our property is that for the first time ever, football teams are actually going to be able to stay in Mattoon as opposed to staying in Champaign or staying in Effingham. The next football season, they'll be able to stay right here in Central Illinois, stay in Mattoon. So all those wonderful rooms that they book, all those, the sales tax and hotel motel tax, all that gets to stay local instead of it going, someplace else and not staying local. Not to mention that, the teams are also going to be a little more comfortable. You got a 10-minute drive to the football stadium as opposed to, it taking an hour.
Right.
So that's something that's great for them to have the meeting space, the convention space that's required for them. So that's going to be a wonderful addition. And it's never happened before.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that, but I had the opportunity to play baseball in college and I played against Eastern. Now one of the hotels there was big enough for a baseball team, but I didn't think about football team. You've got probably 150 total between coaches, staff, players. I mean,
there's a ton.
You
on
get
average, they need between like 69 and 72 rooms.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Well, that's great for you guys. That's good thinking to, build it that size. Plus, your football team in college usually leads the charge. Or basketball, I guess, leads the charge in, the rest of the sports kind of following suit. So you're probably going to pick up baseball, softball, volleyball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've been working with basketball teams, volleyball teams. We've already got bookings in place coming up for December, January. We've got track teams. And then just where we're placed off Interstate 57, we're going to be very busy with transient people coming through.
Yeah.
And then all the wonderful businesses that are in Mattoon that bring in people every single week. You've got, Consolidated's crazy busy. First Mid, they've got people all over the place. Rural King. We're greatly placed. And
it'll be
one
perfect.
of the nice things about our Hilton Garden Inn is we're going to have a full service restaurant on the inside. Be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we're paying homage to kind of where our family came from. The restaurant and bar is going to be called Sticks.
Yes.
Awesome.
So
that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, that's very cool. So the convention center itself, tell us a little bit about, like, if a business is wanting to have a meeting or there's maybe an association that's wanting to throw a convention. How big is it? How many can it hold?
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about that.
The convention space is about 8,200 square feet. We've got 2 dividers in, so we can run 2 meetings at the same time. If it's all open and one room, we can do about, say, north of 550, around 550 or more. Wow. So much larger than any of our competitors in the area. And obviously we're the newest, so
it'll be the nicest.
Come see us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's the same for like wedding receptions and that type of stuff as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, is going to depend on how the tables are arranged, if they want a dance floor, if they want a stage. So that can give or take a few numbers here or there. But for sure, like theater style over 550. And, we'll be able to close up the rooms, and we should be able to do about 240 each side.
Wow.
Depending on the arrangement. So
very nice.
I can't imagine it wouldn't. Yeah. You'll be booked in no time if you're not booked already. So
the calls that we've had already for December on, it's been wonderful. That's probably as good as I could put it.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. Good for you guys. That's great. So Jeremy, are you a graduate of EIU?
I attended grad school and things got so busy, I never finished, but it is my goal to finish my last half of my master's degree.
Awesome.
Okay. So I got my bachelor's degree while I was on active duty in the Navy.
Okay. Cool.
Through University of Phoenix.
Great.
And that was
Awesome.
wonderful. And then attended grad school at EIU at the School of Technology. Enjoyed it and got about part of the way through. And I've taken some classes here and there online. And it just seems like I get through one and I'm going to sign up for another. And then it's like I have like
then you
10
start
more
building a
irons in the
convention
fire.
center.
Yeah, exactly. Start building this large hotel and convention center. And
So at some point I will get there. It's just, one class here and there, it eventually adds up and it'll lead to something.
That's great, man. Well, the reason I ask is I noticed that you're very active at EIU, particularly with fundraising for athletics.
Yes, yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Lead our fundraising for the EIU Panther Club.
Okay.
My very first year, I was Rookie of the Year, and been very, very much part of it. Served on the board of directors for our Panther Club for many years. Transitioned off that board and was appointed to the EIU Foundation Board. So it's a board right under the Board of Trustees. Served on that for many years, getting up to vice president before I resigned off the board because of the Hotel and Convention Center. I did not want there to be a conflict of interest. However, I will forever bleed blue.
Awesome. Well, good for you, man.
I love Eastern, still attend many, many events, help out athletics as much as we possibly can in the university for their needs, because my family would not be where we're at today if it wasn't for EIU supporting my family as I grew up as a kid with my dad being in business. I love EIU, and we wouldn't have what we have today without the support of EIU and the students.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Well, I've got
so
two family members that are alumni, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law played football there. So.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. So, looks like you're also maybe involved going back to property management. You're on the board of directors for Illinois Affordable Housing, or used to be at least.
Yep. I'm still on the board for Illinois Affordable Housing, and that is our not-for-profit. It's my father and I's not-for-profit. And we do charitable donations through that. They're a part of almost all of our affordable housing developments that we do, and give back grants to those communities that we serve.
Awesome. Okay. That's great. Is there anything, so we're actually getting fairly close to the 30-minute mark, Jeremy, but before we hop off, a few things I do want to hit on. So I'm sure there's going to be people, let me backtrack. We talked before we started recording that mid-November was kind of the grand opening time frame for the convention center. And we're recording today, what is October 25th. So this podcast will be released about the time you were thinking of opening the convention center. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about the date and what to expect during that opening phase?
Sure. So we're shooting for the week of November 14th for opening. Cool. And the hotel and convention center will open all at once, which means the restaurant will be open, will be full service, anything and everything. The only thing that won't be open, it will be the swimming pool. And that'll open sometime in probably mid-December. We're doing final finishes on that now.
Cool.
But otherwise, everything will be open that week. And we're looking forward to serving Central Illinois and putting a smile on everybody's faces. Brand new restaurant coming in, serving high quality food. And, we want to be different than everybody else. And I think it's going to be something that's going to put a smile on everybody's face, because everybody's looking for a new nice restaurant to go to in Mattoon and Charleston. And to have that, we're the first restaurant on our side of 57. So come see us. We'll treat you right, and we'll make you want to come back.
That's great.
That's awesome. So if there's anybody listening that wants to learn more either about the convention center or maybe wants to book a room, is there a website or a contact information set up yet?
Yes. So if you actually go to Hilton's website and just type in Mattoon, Illinois, our property pulls right up.
Yep.
And you can literally, with a couple of clicks, do anything and everything from there.
Yep. Perfect. I've got it pulled up over here, and it looks like it's all pretty user-friendly from the Google site. So
is there a phone number on there, Garrett?
There is. It's 800-445-8667.
Great. Awesome. And Jeremy, if there's anybody that wants to reach out to you in particular, wants to learn more about you, what's the best place? Email, phone, social media? What do you prefer?
Anything. So social media, Instagram at Jeremy R. Yost. Good way to reach me. Go to our website. My emails, once they go through my page, they can click it and they can directly email me. Happy to answer any questions. From our website, you can pretty much get to any property except the hotel. Go directly to Hilton's website. But happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Awesome. Well, great, man. We're excited. I know Garrett and I are going to be stopping at Sticks at some point in time because
absolutely
that
we've
sounds
got a lot
like
of meetings over your way this time of year, and the big guys got to eat. So
hey, there we go. It's going to be a great place.
That's what I do best. All right, listeners. Well, while you're listening, make sure you're subscribing to the CIBL podcast on your favorite podcast platform. While you're listening, give us a quick review. You can also follow CIBL on social media, mainly on LinkedIn and Facebook. You can connect with Garrett and I there personally as well. Until next time, Jeremy, you officially been civilized.
Thanks
for coming on the
guys.
show, man.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Take care,
Have a great
guys.
day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/CIBL Podcast. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It's the civilized thing to do.